And we're live. Welcome to the PCS Impact Q&A. I am your host, MJ Boyce. I am the Director of Community Outreach with PCS Grades. As always, we have our Megan Harless, our PCS Reform Advocate, BA. That means censored for little ears in your room. Before I go any further, because guess what, y'all? Yesterday was our dear Megan's birthday. Now, I would like for all of you to join me, please, whether you're watching live or you're watching on the replay. Go ahead and give Megan a shout out and say happy birthday. Get those little love buttons up. But I wanted to tell you, Megan, I purposefully did not even tell you happy birthday yesterday. I mean, just for the record, audience, we're friends, obviously. I mean, we have to get along to be doing this every week. But I purposefully waited and I purposely wanted to say happy belated birthday. But you know I did that on purpose, right? Because you know I love you. Of course you know that. It's not like you were born yesterday. I always get down with saying that. And of course, again, please wish Megan a happy belated birthday because she knows y'all love her. She wasn't born yesterday. Now, on to the biz. Before we get to Megan's awesome DoD updates, we're going to go ahead and do our housekeeping items as we do every week. First and foremost, we bring experts to you. Megan just happens to be an expert. The two of us are going to be a dynamic duo today in lieu of a guest because guess what? She's got it on lock and we've got some really awesome stuff for you. But we bring experts on for you. We're going to answer your questions. You ask in the comments below, we answer. If we don't know the answer, guess what? We know who does. And if we don't know either of those things, then we're going to go ahead and take your question for action and get back to you with that answer. That said, we're going to move on to number 2. No matter what happens, we're going to do everything we can to answer those questions, just like I said. But sometimes you're going to have specific situations that pertain to you and your life situation. In those cases that are really minute and specific, there are 2 very end-all, be-all, forever, and always resources that you must turn to. Number 1, your local chain of command. Number 2, your local transportation office. Yep, I know, I heard you already because you're repeating me because I say it every week, but it's true. Your local chain of command and your local transportation office. Those are the people who know you. Those are the people who are dealing with your stuff. Those are the people that can make the decisions and help you get to your next location specifically for you and your family. So hit them up if you need them. Flattening the curve, people. Okay, so yes, it has been cray-cray out there. Some areas are upticking, some areas are keeping it level, some areas just don't know their rear end from a hole in the wall. But I will say this, we have to do our part to flatten the curve. And the reason for that, if you do it for no other reason, the reason we're gonna do that is because we're gonna flatten Murphy with it. Murphy, you're on notice, we're coming for you. Flatten the curve, peeps. Now, before I get back to Megan, one last thing. We're going to go ahead and do a contest today. And it's really, really, really easy to enter and possibly win. We're giving away 3 prizes for every action and interaction that we have, for every question that we have, every answer. We're going to go ahead and put your name in a drawing. And you can win multiple times for every comment, question, and concern that you have, that you ask us, tell us, say to us, answer us with. We're going to put your name in a drawing. That's extra chances to win. 3 giveaways, by the way, thanks to our awesome friend, Lauren Hope from Hope Design Limited. So at the end of our question and answer, our myth busting session, if you will, we're going to go ahead and test your skills when it comes to fact or fiction with PCSing. We'll get to that towards the end, but right now we're going to go ahead and hand it over to Megan for those DoD updates. Megan?
Hey everybody, and thank you MJ for the birthday wishes, and everybody else in the comments, I see them, so thank you, I appreciate it. Just a couple of updates for y'all. Things are kind of starting to resemble a part of a normal PCS season, so we're starting to see some of that kind of come back, so there isn't a whole lot of changes kind of going on right now. To go off what MJ reiterates every week about, reaching out to your local transportation office if you have issues, if you have concerns. Some of them are still remote working. Call forwarding is not always happening at some of those. So if you're trying to get a hold of somebody and you still are not able to, reach out by email. They're much more responsive through your email and everything, just because they're able to do that from home with the call forwarding not happening. If you don't have the email, go to move.mil customer service tab, and you'll be able to go right there to put in your zip code, your base, and it'll pull up all that contact information for you. And we'll get that link dropped below as well later on. But the two big updates other than that, so we have heard about some flights are being canceled due to airlines, needing to go back to social distancing for one reason or another. The Patriot Express flights, that they are having to social distance on their flights as well. So just because you have a reservation, it may not still be there. So you need to call and check. If you have any type of flight planned for an OCONUS move, call your airline, check your reservation. If you have pets, if you're being rebooked on something, make sure they're getting rebooked with you as well, because we have heard that some of that also is not happening. So definitely check your flights. The last update, this is specifically for people going to Japan, to Okinawa. They came out and they made a statement that they are kind of revising a few things for those folks that need to come in and do restriction of movement, need to do their quarantine. But they're trying to, with their on-base lodging, trying to work it so folks that need restriction of movement, that need the quarantining, are not going to be mingling with those that do not need it. So they're revising their lodging plan. So they're having certain lodges, certain on-post lodging is going to be for the restriction of movement people only, and the other lodging is going to be for those that don't need the restriction of movement. So if you have a reservation there already, call them again, reach out to them and make sure your reservation is still valid. Make sure you verify what lodge you're going to, but they're trying to make it so that way you're not being intermingled with those folks. So those are the only things we have. If you got reservations, call and check on them. Otherwise, I'll send it back to MJ.
Awesome. Thanks for those updates. They are absolutely key. And remember, friends, our fur babies, too. I've got one, and trust me, I may as well have a toddler right at this point. Can I get an amen? Amen. Okay, so just a really quick, I'm just going to go ahead, and Megan, I think this time around what we're going to do is we're going to sprinkle some comments in here and there. So I just wanted to address Renee, and Renee, shout out Renee. She said, I love prizes, but I don't have any PCS experience, still at our first duty station. Girl, you are ahead above so many others. I want to tell you that right now. Kudos. That comment alone just gave you an entry to win. If you have any questions about what we're talking about, any comments, anything you've learned, or, just share this. Every single time you comment with something relevant, not just an LOL smiley face, people, every time you comment or have a question or concern, go ahead and hit it in the comment section below, and you'll be entered to win. So just that right there tells me that you are honest, sister, number one. And number two, why don't you share the word? Go ahead and spread that out. Anybody who's watching, spread it out. Share the wealth, y'all. Shout out, Renee. Okay, so what we're going to do this go around is we're going to do kind of like a Mythbuster session, which I just feel like I need to mention really quick. One of the co-hosts that did like over 200 episodes with the actual Mythbusters, he passed away this couple days ago. So I just want to say, shout out in heaven to the dude. And hopefully we're going to go ahead and do you justice as we do our myth busting ourselves. So we're going to do fact or fiction. Okay. So Megan, what's going to happen is I'm going to go ahead and read off the fact or fiction. She's going to tell us if that myth is fact or fiction. All right. You ready, Megan?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
All right. So myth number one, your service member must be in receipt of a hard copy orders in order to be able to begin your move process on move.mil.
That is fact. You do have to have hard orders. You can't schedule anything without your hard orders on move.mil and DPS because it asks you specifically for your orders number. And the reason why they do this is because, orders can change. RFOs, they can change frequently. Your verbal orders or, that you're being told you're going to someplace can absolutely change. And so the military is not going to let you set up a move. They're not going to contract a company to come pack you up only to find out that your orders are changing. So you absolutely need hard orders to be able to set up your move because you need that orders number. I will say there are cases where you have your hard orders, you do have your moves set up, and then you do get new hard orders. It happens rarely, but it does happen. The military, the transportation office, they'll work with that. But to start anything on DPS, on move.mil, you absolutely need to have those hard orders.
Word. Mm-hmm. All right, moving on to myth number 2. Let's bust this one, Megan. Shipments, our household goods shipments, are contracted out to the lowest bidder.
This one will surprise everybody, but it's fiction. It is. So let me break it down for you a little bit. So cost, yes, absolutely does play a piece into how shipments are awarded, but it is not the only piece in criteria into how they figure out how shipments are awarded. We've all heard of the customer satisfaction survey. It's that survey that you're supposed to take at the end of each PCS. It's found on DPS. There's a link to it. That survey counts for 70% of the company's best value score. Their rate that they file with the DoD to move you only counts for 30% of that best value score. There's a couple other things that kind of work in there as well that they look at, but that customer satisfaction survey is really the biggest thing. And so we hear a lot of times where people just, they do it to the lowest bidder. They're trying to save money. How in the world is this company still receiving, shipments because they're horrible? And the fact is because people don't fill out that customer satisfaction survey. So if you look at it, we average in a normal year, not this COVID year because it's so crazy, but in previous normal years, we average about 400,000 shipments a year. Only about 25 to 30% of those shipments get a customer satisfaction survey actually filled out and completed at the end of their move. So we're looking, at a quarter of that. So, there's a lot of shipments that aren't filling out that customer satisfaction survey. We look at the reasons why. Either they're really great moves, and they want to let people know that they did an awesome job. Sometimes people that had a bad move, they're so frustrated and done at the end of the process, they don't want to do anything else, so they don't fill out that survey. But that survey is so important because it counts for so much of their best value score for how it is that they're awarded shipments. So cost does play a part, but that survey plays a bigger part. So if you're moving this year, if you're moving next year, if you've moved within the last 12 months, go back on DPS and look at that survey and fill it out if you hadn't already, because that is the heavyweight item in figuring out their best value score for how they're contracted.
Would you equate, I personally equate it this way, but would you equate filling out that survey to kind of like voting? Because basically, it might not, improve anything about what just happened, that move that just happened, but are you going to be, not only is your voice going to be impacting other families' moves, but it could potentially and probably will impact your future moves, which are, yes, going to happen. So wouldn't you equate that to voting?
Absolutely. I mean, it would absolutely be similar to voting, that you're filling out, we vote to decide who we want in office, who we want to represent us. That survey, you're using it to say, hey, I don't want this company to ever move somebody again because we had such a horrible experience. Or you're saying, this company was awesome and they need more shipments. They need, that revenue so they can build up because they're just so amazing. So that survey is just so important, and a lot of people either they don't know about it, they get confused with what survey they need to fill out, because sometimes your assigned company is saying, hey, can you fill out the survey for us, or can you do this little thing on my iPad real quick? And that's their internal company surveys, their internal company reviewing metrics, but it's not the DoD one. The DoD one is on DPS, and that is the one that counts towards how companies are being contracted your shipments.
Okay, and since we're on the topic of surveys, Miss Lisa Peterson did have a question. Shout out, Lisa. How does the survey work when they subcontract so much out? Does it impact the right company? So when they look at the surveys, basically when DoD looks at the surveys, are they looking at those specific companies?
So they are. So they're able to go back and see who your shipment was contracted out to. And there are questions in there, how pleased are you with, your packing service? How pleased were you with the delivery service? So they can be able to kind of break it down. We've talked a lot with Transcom, can we make those questions a little more definable for each piece of the move? Right now, we're not doing that because next year we're going to be going into the GHC process, and it's probably going to change some then. But there are questions that kind of break it down, as to how satisfied you are with each step of the process. So they can go back and say, they were really upset with, their packing experience, but they were really pleased with their delivery experience, and so they can go back and see, okay, company A was their TSP that coordinated all, but this company B was their local agent at their losing location, and company D was their local agent at their gaining location. So they can definitely go back and see exactly what companies you're referring to when you say you're upset with the packing process or you were really happy with something. They can go back and definitely tell what companies you were talking about.
Word. And we got Ellie Batista here. Ellie, shout out for this one. Check this out.
Yeah.
I never knew about the survey. Will definitely recommend for spouses, and I will definitely start doing so. Shout out, girlfriend on fire. Love it. I love it.
Absolutely. And why we're talking about the survey, shameless, selfless plug for PCS grades. Why you are on there doing your survey for DPS, for the military, to let them know, so that way companies can be contracted better, so that way their best value score can be calculated right as to the experiences that families are happening. Take a minute, hop over to PCS grades also, and leave a review there, because PCS grades, it's reviews from military families for military families. Because a lot of times, you get assigned a company and you don't know, you've never heard of it before, you're unsure how it is, or you've heard some horror stories, you can get on PCS grades and see exactly what other families are saying about it. If you're doing a PPM and you just want to hire out the process, because let's face it, not everybody enjoys packing, not everybody enjoys loading and the manual labor of it. You can definitely go on PCS grades and say, hey, I'm moving from point A to point B, and this company, a lot of people loved it. Let me give them a call and see if they can handle our PPM. So definitely go fill out the DPS survey, because that is so heavily weighted when figuring out company's best value score. But take a minute and leave your review also on PCS grades, so that way other families can see your experience as well.
Word. And thanks for the chat. See, this is why we love Megan. This is like, hi, how are you? And then one last one about the survey before we move on to the next myth. We've got Rochelle Futch. Shout out, Rochelle.
Yeah.
We know Rochelle. So she was one of the spouses that was just exhausted and done. And you know what I mean? That was her. And her movers broke things. Husband didn't do the paperwork. And it's easier if it's an email and virtual, fill in the blanks. And she's going to do the survey next time. And that girl is key.
So the survey, if you guys have never done the survey before, I asked some questions, and it's got like little buttons you can pick and choose for a scale, to choose how you would rate them. There are some blocks to fill in, to leave some comments for. I will tell you there is a character limit. If you go over that character limit, it does not tell you. So look at that first, type it out in Word, see what your character limit is first, because it will not save it. And you also have a 15-minute time limit on it. I will say it's just a few questions. It's very quick, very easily. You can get it done unless you have a lot to say. If for some reason you're having computer issues, you can call the DPS help desk line, and we can do the survey over the phone as well. We actually did that one time because for the life of me, DPS was just not working on our computers, and I could not figure it out. And I am not a technical savvy type of person. By any means, but calling them and trying to figure it out, and them saying, hey, why don't we just do your survey over the phone, and then we'll help you work through your computer. So definitely take the minute to fill it out, y'all, because it's so desperately needed to be able to get the real experience that families are having.
Absolutely. And data is power.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to also, I just wanted to let everybody know, these questions, these comments, these concerns are absolutely awesome. I'm reading through them. I'm so excited by how engaged y'all are. Again, share the word. I mean, literally. So if we don't answer your question in the middle, we're going to get to those questions at the end as well. Please know that we don't leave you hanging. That's not how we roll. Okay. Are we ready for our next myth?
Let's do it.
All right. If you don't like your assigned company, your assigned moving company, you can request a new one. Fact or fiction?
Sort of both.
Okay, give me the lowdown. Give me the policy.
So if you're doing OCONUS, most likely you cannot request a new one because there are only so many companies that do OCONUS moves, especially if you're coming out of a foreign country back to the U.S. There's only so many companies they can pick from within the DoD program. If you are stateside, if you are CONUS, you can request a new company. However, some things to know about that is that one, your process starts all over again. So they pull that shipment back and you go basically into the end of the line as they go through shipments to award shipments. Now, because of that, you may not get your requested move dates that you want because it's going to depend on the new company's availability where they can fit you in at. Also, if they cannot find another company to do your shipment, you could be pushed into doing a PPM. If you're saying, like I really need to be out by this date, like that's our no later than date because, we have to drive 4 days and report on that date, you could be pushed into doing a PPM. So if you're going to request a new company, just be aware, of your process will start over. You'll go to the end of the line, and then also that you could be doing a PPM. I will say I have seen some people request new companies and not have issues with it. I've seen some request and have to do the PPMs. A big thing to remember with our moves, it all really depends on that crew that is in your home that is doing the work. So that's where being involved in your process, being involved with the packers, being involved with the loaders, walk around, check on them, talk to them, get to know them, make some small talk, be involved. It really makes a huge difference. So, if you have a really good crew, regardless of who that assigned company is that's managing your shipment, you should generally be okay.
Word. And just a quick follow-up question about that. So like if I'm, if for whatever reason, large or small, I have to, what would be the process if I said, okay, I don't like these movers. Who do I call and who do I work with so that I don't have that lapse in time or try and work it out like as quickly as possible? Who do I call?
So you reach out to your transportation office because they're the ones that are going to be contracting your shipment. So you don't want that company. You need to call your local transportation office. Now you get assigned a company. That company that manages your move, they're going to be assigning you what they call local agents. You'll have an origin agent who will be doing the packing and the loading generally, and then you'll have a destination agent that does the unloading and stuff. So if you get assigned like a local company that is just a horrible company, you've heard a lot of people have issues with them, call your move coordinator and ask them first, like, hey, do you have a different local agent that you can assign us to? I'd prefer to have this company, do you have a contract with them that you could assign my shipment to them? Sometimes your move coordinators have that ability that within their network, if they have different local agents that you're installing in your area, they can reach out and give you a different local agent. That's totally much more easier to do than asking for a whole new company to begin with. So definitely, and as we said before, those crews in your home doing the work that come from the local agents, that's really what matters, is how good of a job they do. So changing your local agent is much more easier with your move coordinator than trying to change the whole company together with your transportation office.
That makes sense. And for those of you who see me, this is my lemonade. I am sitting in my guest room because #COVID. And it is hot as Hades. It is hot as Hades up in here. And if I were to turn my fan on right now, y'all wouldn't be able to hear me or Megan. So I'm taking one for the team, and I'm just drinking my lemonade and praying to God that I don't water all over the place.
Listen, we're in Texas, and we are on day 5 of the heat advisory. So it's hot, y'all.
Yeah. Done with the heat. Okay, next myth to bust. Ready?
Yep.
Fact or fiction? Will the military pick up from more than one location?
Fact. They will. So I have a caveat to go with that. So if you have a what do we call it, like a storage unit that you had at your location because you had to take a smaller house and you needed a place to put stuff, they will totally pick that up from there. You just have to set it up when you set up your move that you have 2 pickup locations type of deal, and they will do that. Now, if you're moving from Virginia to Texas, but your great parents live in California and they said, hey, we want to give you, this room of furniture, come get it, they will not pick that up. And whatnot. So it's usually within a radius of your moving installation that they will pick stuff up for you. But you cannot plan for them to go to grandma's house across the country to pick up, stuff for you that you've inherited and bring to you. So they will, but there is a distance radius that they will do it for.
Word. And if somebody were to want to look up this distance radius, where would that be found again?
Move.mil. Everything you need to know is on move.mil. So go there. They have a little search bar. You can type in, picking up more than one location, and it'll give you all the information you need.
Oh, word. And guess what, Megan? Guess what Rochelle just said?
Mm-hmm.
We have a house and a storage unit. You just answered the question I was going to have next summer. Boom. Our job's done.
Perfect.
Bye, guys. No, I'm just kidding. We're not done.
Yeah, I mean, we had that experience too. We were that same family that, we went to Captain's Career Course, because we were there for such a short period of time. We got a smaller home. We lived in an apartment, but we had stuff that didn't fit in an apartment. So we just got a storage unit right down the road, and they were totally cool about, picking up what needed to be picked up. But you just got to set it up that way. You can't have them come to your house to pick up and load stuff and then be like, oh yeah, by the way, can you follow me down the block, 10 minutes to my storage unit and pick that stuff up too? You have to set it up as a 2-location pickup.
Yeah, it's like one of those, what had happened was.
Right?
Okay, here's another myth for you to bust, Megan. Fact or fiction?
Mm-hmm.
Military move you back home during a deployment? Big question.
Fiction. They will not. So, and I'm going to add another caveat. I have a caveat for a lot of things, y'all.
No, and that's important. Just FYI, audience, every caveat she has is because here's the policy, but we all know there's exceptions to the rule. They're super specific, but she's got the info. What you got?
Well, let's say you're at Fort Bragg and your spouse is deploying and you want to go home to Colorado. Because you don't want to do the 9 months alone. You'd rather go spend it with family. You're having a baby, whatever it is. The military will not move you. That move will be on your own, out of your own pocket, on your own dime, because your husband's or your spouse's orders are from Fort Bragg to deployment. And because he's going with his unit, he's coming back to Fort Bragg. He's not going anywhere else. So that move is on you. Now, if this is a deployment, like an unaccompanied assignment that your spouse is going from one location and they're going to Korea for a month, they're going to Saudi Arabia for a month, or for a year, they're going to Bahrain for a year unaccompanied assignment. If it's written in your spouse's orders, they can move you to either your follow-on location, because most people generally know their follow-on location. That's part of them going on an unaccompanied assignment, so they can move you to your follow-on, or they can move you to your home of record. They usually give you that choice, but it has to be written in your service member's orders. You get your orders, and it's not written that way, and you're just like, but I have friends at Fort Carson where we're going to be going, and I'd rather go get set up, and I'd rather not move the kids somewhere else, and I really hate this location and want to get out of here. Call your branch manager, call your detailer, call whoever it is that writes your orders, call them, talk to them and say, hey, can we get this added into our orders, to have my family go ahead and move to our follow-on, or have them move to a home of record. It's very easily done. And so in those instances, when it's an unaccompanied assignment, deployment, whatever, rotation overseas sort of deal, the military can move you then.
Word. And I mean, I guess that makes sense. So basically, prepare. Oh, by the way, prepare.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, man, we're like the only species on the planet that has contingency plans for our contingency plans. Like I revert back to the SpongeBob movie where, like plan A through Z, like the little guy, gosh, I can't remember his name right now, but you know who I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the little,
but yeah.
Yes. A to
we
Z.
have to A through Z, and we hope we only have to get to C before something works.
Yes, and that is generous. Murphy, we got to keep Murphy at bay. By the way, we got your back. Okay, this is really cute. I just have to do this. Rochelle, you're on fire, girlfriend. So her 4-year-old is apparently watching with her, which I think is awesome. Man, educate ahead. Kids serve too. They move too. My 4-year-old Kiki, is it? Wants to say hi to you ladies. She is very engaged in listening. Hi, girlfriend. Thank you for watching Show Mama today. That is very nice. And you are learning in the summer, which is even better. So super proud of you, girlfriend. All right. Okay. So next Mythbuster is a huge one and a huge question. There has been debate upon debate upon debate.
Yes.
And we're just looking for legit policy regulation on this one. So I'm going to actually do this twofold. So is tipping and at times feeding, right? Tipping/feeding your cruise prohibited?
That is fiction.
Fiction.
So there was a time many years ago where it used to be written into the tender of service, the contract with the companies, that they were not supposed to accept tips. And every spouse, every service member, every family was briefed when we did the in-person PCS briefings that you are not to tip your movers, whatever. There's been a lot of debates about it. There became a time where they then removed that sentence from the tender of service, prohibiting, tipping your crews. And Transcom has now made it official. It's a FAQ on move.mil that tipping and feeding, it's not required. You can do it if you want to do it. And but the crews should not ask to be tipped or to be fed. They should not ask. So if they ask, you should call your move coordinator, you should call your local transportation office, report it to them. A lot of people, feed their crews. A lot of people offer, cold drinks and stuff, which is, totally nice to do. A lot of times, we sometimes do that because I know if you leave to go get your own lunch, you're going to be gone for 2 hours. And I really want my home packed up in the 2 days you allotted and not have to be scrambling on load day. So I am more than happy to leave my husband home to supervise you while I go pick up Chick-fil-A, to make sure work continues. But yeah, it's not prohibited at all, but it's totally at your discretion as to what it is that you want to do in regards to tipping and feeding. Some do both, some do one or the other. It's totally up to you with whatever you feel comfortable doing.
Absolutely. And I just want to go ahead and throw something out there. So obviously, in case you didn't notice, I'm kind of a talker and I like to get to know people because that's just my nature. Yeah. And so what I did notice was when I was a brand new first-time PCS ever military spouse, I didn't know any of this. I didn't know tipping or feeding. I didn't know either. Like I didn't even consider either because I didn't think it was a thing. So I didn't. So I probably shouldn't have been so surprised when things did not go right. But I learned through other mil spouses over time. Yes, I guess, Megan, that policy might have been in place when you shouldn't do that when I was back. I'm not that old, people.
I do, but listen, here's the deal. I want to throw this out there so people know. A lot of people feel like they get guilted into feeding their movers or guilted into tipping their movers, and you should not be guilted in. Just because you tip or feed them doesn't mean your move's going to go perfect. Just because you don't do it doesn't mean your move's going to go crappy. There's a big misconception out there about it. It's like, I want my move to be perfect. I want my furniture to be protected. So I'm going to tip them whatever in the world I need to tip them to make sure it goes smooth. Your shipment, depending on what, if it's a regular household goods shipment, storage shipment, UAB, whatever type of shipment it is, has the ability, the potential to be transferred through hands.
Oh, Megan. Oh, no, Megan, did we lose you, girlfriend? Stand by, everybody. This was just the very first time that we have ever had significant enough internet problems, I can guarantee you that Megan is dropping all the bombs right now. She may not even realize that she wasn't able to continue that sentence. Megan, do me a favor, girlfriend. Okay, I see that you're here. She just texted me. See, we've got this. FYI, my husband does IT and he's probably making fun of me right now. Shout out, Boo. He listens every week. He's so sweet. Everybody give a shout out and some love to my husband because he's supporting me and my crazy and probably laughing his rear end off right now as he's keeping the doggy quiet, my second toddler. So while we're waiting for Megan to log back in, because, this heat wave probably is affecting the internet, I would not doubt it in one bit. We'll go ahead and we'll get to some of these things. I just wanted to say, thanks, Michelle. Yes, good thing MJ likes to talk. Bleh, word vomit. Oh, guess what? Just in time.
Hi. I'm pretty sure because all of my kids are on their tablets that we overwhelmed our Wi-Fi.
Can we just pause and say with the school thing, there's a bandwidth issue with everybody being on if you have more than like one kid and more than one device. Oh my goodness. But I'm just going to go ahead and blame Murphy. How about that? How about we just blame Murphy?
Absolutely. Everything's COVID Murphy's fault for like the last couple of months and for the next couple of months. We're just going to throw that out there. It's all COVID Murphy's fault.
Yes.
But yeah, back to my point and my rant, y'all. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilted into trying to tip your movers or to feed your movers. It's at your discretion. It's what you want. Your shipment's going to change hands. Unless you have it set up for a direct door-to-door shipment and it's coming on the same exact truck with the same driver, your shipment's going to change hands. It's going to go to a warehouse. It's going to go to storage. If you don't fill a full semi-truck, it's going to sit and maybe go to storage until they can fill the semi-truck to move it across country. So don't think, I really need to tip these people for my shipment to go well. I really need to feed these people for my shipment to go well. That has no correlation with how your shipment is. I've seen people tip very generously, and their experience was still horrible as things came off the truck broken into pieces. So tip and feed at whatever you're comfortable with, at whatever you want to do, but don't feel guilted into it and don't feel like you have to do it. It's your discretion with what you want.
Absolutely. And I'm going to echo what Megan said, and I'm going to add to that a little caveat, if you will. I just want to, so this is a very stressful time for everybody. Definitely stressful for whoever's PCSing. So that's a yes. But it's also stressful given the COVID environment that we're in, like period, end of discussion. There's a lot of variables that are falling in, and our movers do have that too. The number one thing, no matter who you're dealing with, in what capacity and where, is to be kind. Mm-hmm. Kind and extend grace, because at some point somebody will be kind and extend grace to you when you absolutely need it. I feel like kind of like what we're doing is extending grace, maybe a little heads up. That's kind of grace. That's kind of kind. But like, we never know, like being kind doesn't cost anything and it doesn't hurt anything. Yeah. But so give yourself some grace, give everybody else some grace, and always be kind.
Absolutely.
Okay. Next myth. And so this one is kind of a flip-flopper. A lot of people are confused. Fact or fiction? If you pack it, is the moving company not responsible for it? And will they repack everything that you've already packed?
So there's some fiction in there. So previously many years ago, it used to be if you packed it, they were not liable for it. The new claims liability business rules is that if they take possession of it, they are liable for it. So with that, a lot of times if you have packed anything, they do need to look into your totes. They do need to look into whatever boxes it is that you packed, because they need to be able to put it on, verify the contents for the inventory. But they also, because they are responsible for it now, they want to look to make sure that that things are packed properly. They want to look to make sure if there's something breakable that should be wrapped a little better. They want to make sure that it's a full box or a full tub that that they are taking possession of. They don't want to take a tub that's half packed because things will move around and get broken. So they'll want to add packing paper to it. So definitely, if they are taking possession of it, they're liable for it. As far as repacking, it's company discretion as to whether they do. I've seen them repack things previously. The big thing is about plastic Rubbermaid totes. Do those get repacked? Some do, some don't. It's company's discretion. And a lot of times when they do get repacked, it's because they don't know the structure of that tote. How many times has it been moved? If you start seeing some of those white spots where it was crushed previously, the lid's no longer sitting on it right, they don't want to take responsibility for the stuff that's in there, so they will repack them. My favorite thing that we spent a lot of time doing is that we transitioned over into tough boxes, those big heavy duty hard plastic boxes a lot of service members use for deployments. We started buying those and transitioning over to get rid of all of our plastic totes. So it's definitely company dependent on if they repack or not. But if you do an amazing pack job, a lot of times they kind of leave things as is.
Word.
Mm-hmm.
Word. So you're saying if, let's say, I've got my husband's vintage Nintendo video games, mm-hmm. all in one tub, Rubbermaid tub. And it's been in there for forever, since he was 8, whatever. There's a possibility that they might repack it.
There is. Okay. Because they're vintage video games, first I'm going to tell you should look at putting that on the high value list. And you're going to want them to repack that because they need to be able to see that it's a high value item, and it's going to need to go into a better box where they can put your little sticker seals on it for it being a high value item. But yeah, so there is a chance that they may repack it. They're going to want to open the box, open the tub, to verify the contents for the inventory. You can't just tell them, oh, that's a tub full of school supplies, and then it's really a tub of, China or illegal things or whatever that they shouldn't be moving. They need to open it to verify those contents. So they're going to do that. And if it's not packed well, they're going to maybe repack it into the same tote. Some companies do that. Other times they will repack it into one of their boxes because they know the structure of it is more sound.
Word. Makes sense. Sense. I'll take that. Moving on to number 9. Okay. The crews take apart indoor furniture. Fact or fiction? Do they take apart outdoor furniture like trampolines, swing sets, whatever?
They do not. So outdoor furniture, outdoor swing sets, playgrounds, trampolines, that's all your responsibility. A lot of people think, will they take apart my bed? They should take apart the trampoline. And it's not their responsibility. That's totally on you. I've seen people hire third-party companies to come out and disassemble and reassemble those outdoor things just because they don't want to have to do it. Listen, I helped our neighbors move a swing set playground thing that they bought from one neighbor's house across the street to another neighbor's house. And let me tell you, it was not a lot of, I love them. If they're watching, they know I love them. But it was not a lot of fun trying to figure out how things went back together and trying to lift stuff up and put it back together. So people hire those third-party companies, but it's outdoor equipment is totally your responsibility.
And that's totally a great heads up because I personally, working in the PCS space, didn't even know that. And that's why we have on board with us. She kind of gut checks me. But I never would have thought, I would have assumed that anything within the perimeter of my house that I'm shipping with my household goods would be done for me. I would have just assumed. So it's very good. I'm very glad you're giving that heads up to those who have, small kids with this. I'm sorry, y'all. Swing sets are expensive as heck sometimes. And they're complicated. Maybe not as complicated as the whole IKEA thing, but it's still complicated. So just a heads up. That way you could plan a couple minutes ahead of time to undo the stuff or get that third party that Megan referred. So let me we actually have a question that I'm going to throw out at you.
Absolutely.
Yes, Lisa Peterson. What up, Lisa? Are sticker seals used for HV OCONUS?
So high value OCONUS, anything that's high value, whether you're OCONUS or CONUS, should be used. So these are the sticker seals that go on the boxes, that once the box is packed up with your high value items, that seal goes across the seam, across the tape of the box. So that way, you know, it's identified as high value, and then you're able to know if it's been tampered with. While we're talking about high value, a lot of people forget when they get to their destination, you know, they don't want to unpack, they send crews away, they sign all the paperwork. Make sure you open your high value items at delivery, just because when you sign that high value form, if you look at the box and the red letters right above your signature, it says that your high value items arrived in contact, and that, you know, nothing is damaged unless otherwise already noted on the loss damage form at delivery. So you need to open your high value items. Listen, I have a lot of Polish pottery. I got a lot of china. I got a lot of crystal. It's all individually wrapped. My crews probably hate me because, you know, I make them unwrap it so I can verify that my high value items are all intact. But you have to do it. That is one of the things you have to do. And I see your comment here, Lisa, that dang it, when they lied to me, they lied.
I hate it when they lie to me.
Yeah, they refused last week. Yeah, so that's unfortunate. So anything that's high value should be getting those stickers. Now, when we talk about OCONUS and seals, there's a lot of misconception about seals on the crates. Seals are not required on crates anymore. But as far as your high value item boxes, those still require the seals to identify them as the high value.
Okay. And we have another high value question, just kind of is what is considered high value? Like, is it based on retail or your opinion?
So
can I just stop? Renee, that's a fantastical question, phrased in a fantastical way. Go, Megan.
So by regulation, it says that high value items are things that are irreplaceable, hard to replace, or valued at $100 per pound or more. So a lot of people wonder, like, what all does that include? So as they say, irreplaceable or hard to replace. If it's a collector's item, it should be on your high value inventory. If it's something that you cannot get again, or it's going to cost an arm and a leg or a kidney on the black market, it should probably be on your high value inventory. You know, for us, collections. So I have a Polish pottery collection. My husband has sports memorabilia. We have, what else do we have? Our electronics go on our high value inventory. I have antique furniture that goes on our high value inventory. My husband's military awards, you know, those big plaque things with their guidons and their colors that they get when they leave a unit. I put all those on our high value inventory because if you've ever had to try to replace one, listen, we've had to do it twice now. If you've ever had to try to replace one, you feel like you're trying to sell a kidney on the black market and to find a reputable buyer for it. You know, because you're trying to get a hold of somebody at the unit that you left 5 years prior and you don't know anybody there. And people are like, but you're not on our manning roster. We don't know who you are. What are you trying? And it's just like, no, like I will send you a copy of our orders that put us there 5 years ago, but I need to know. It's a hassle, y'all. So we put those on our high value inventory. So as far
as so smart, by the way, I never would have thought in a million years. I never would have even considered, but you're absolutely right because of the amount of time and the difficulty finding that, getting it back, getting it again or whatever.
Yeah.
Lizanne has Lizanne, shout out Lizanne. Lizanne is our content editor over at PCS Grade. She said the movers once labeled my husband's collection of magic cards as high value without us saying anything about it. Oh,
that's a crew member who plays magic and knows how expensive those cards can be. So, you know, kudos to them.
I mean, for real, I'm just saying, Lizanne, you win the internet today. The end.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so since we're on the topic of high value inventory, fact or fiction? Does it or does it not matter? It doesn't matter. High Monday. Stop. It's still Monday in my brain. Okay, Monday's gone. Now we're back to Wednesday. Here we go.
Wednesday.
The high value inventory does not matter or is only for things that cost $500 or more.
It totally matters. Your high value inventory totally matters. So your high value inventory, as we've been talking about, those expensive things, those irreplaceable, hard to replace collector's items type of things, it gives you the ability to put that item specifically on the inventory. As you know, your regular inventory, your kitchen items get labeled as kitchen appliances, dishes, whatever it is. The high value inventory, if you have fine china, it gives you the ability to write that I have a 12-piece set of Mikasa Starlight Silver china set. It gives you the ability to write that I have, 12 Waterford Crystal Lismore goblets. It gives you that ability to write those items specifically on your inventory. And also generally, like if those items are damaged, lost, or whatever in your move, they generally have your claim go a little bit quicker because they know those are higher value items, so they aren't going to let that sit there. But it gives you that ability to put them specifically on the inventory by item and not just have them categorized as the general contents in your other boxes. So it totally matters if you have those items, put them on your high value inventory.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense. I kind of got a little nifty coin collection, and I am what, just for the record, your word for the day, for all you Jeopardy peeps out there, I am a budding numismatist, which is somebody who studies and collects currency and coins, and that is me. So I absolutely am gaining stuff from the whole high value thing. Word, Megan.
Your currency collection, I would pack that in a shoebox and take that with you and not let them pack it.
Oh my gosh, if it could fit in a shoebox, you're right. But what I have done, just for the record, along with my Keurig, which is strapped safely in with a seatbelt in my car, I keep that with me at all times, 2 to 3 tubs always.
Mm-hmm.
So good call on that. Okay. When receiving your household goods shipment, this is huge. This is huge. I never even thought about this, but I found it in my research. When you're receiving your household
delivery day.
Yay! If something is immediately recognized as damaged on the delivery, like half of your couch is gone, the moving company can offer you up to $500 that day, fact or fiction.
There's a little bit of fact, a little bit of fiction. So to lay it all out for you is that can happen. It's called a quick claim. If it's $500 or less, they can offer you a quick claim and get it paid out pretty immediately.
For that one item, right?
Yes, for that one item. But if for some reason that one item, it's a Pottery Barn couch that costs $4,000 and they can't find the cushions for it, and you can't reorder those cushions, you don't want to do a quick claim on your couch because they're only going to give you $500 for it, and it's not going to replace your Pottery Barn couch. Now, if it's like your washing machine that cost, $400, and now it's like it fell off the truck and it's dented and crushed, you can totally do a quick claim for your washing machine. Now, you do your quick claim on, that type of thing, but you still have other stuff that you haven't unpacked and you need to be able to file your regular claim. You can still do your regular claim on DPS. The only thing is that washing machine that you did the quick claim for, you cannot claim it on your regular claim. There is a spot where it asks if you had received any money for other damaged items from the company. You click that box yes, and in the comments you say, inventory item number 47, Whirlpool washing machine, was a quick claim, received, $350 for it. Just that way they can be able to track it and are aware of it. But if you have those items, $500 or less, you can do the quick claim on them. But you cannot claim those on your regular claim when you go through that process.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Let's say they break my awesome jewelry box, by the way, asking for a friend.
It happened to me too. It's okay.
Let's say that, the tall ones with it's like this, and then it's really like intricate, right? And like it was no legs. So are they supposed to ask me or am I supposed to ask?
You should be the one to ask for it, because they're not, depending on the item, they may just assume that you're going to, once you unpack, you'll do your all claim together. So if you want it something be that a quick claim on it, you need to do it. Be the one to initiate it. But those quick claim things, my suggestion is to save it for your necessities, your things that, like your mattresses should be a quick claim, your bedding, if for some reason those get damaged, quick claim those, your washing machines, those types of things. Other stuff, our bookshelf gets broken, it's less than $500. It's annoying. I can't unpack my 1,000 boxes of books because we have our own library. But I don't need to rush for, that new shelf. It's totally up to you. You guys can all figure out how you want to do it, but you can do that quick claim for, $500 or less.
I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to be real here for a second and raw, and that I am super, super pissed off that I did not know that then, because that legitimately actually happened. And that friend is actually me. Yeah, I can be my own friend sometimes, but I had no idea. And in reading about it, I always thought it was something that was supposed to be offered. And that maybe it was dependent upon each, whatever. But now I know that, anytime anybody has that issue, ask. If you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no. Either way.
Totally.
Yeah. Good call. All right. Myth Buster number 12. We received our household goods, and I only have 75 days to report the loss or damage, fact or fiction.
Total fiction. So, new policy change. So prior to May 15th of this year, it used to be you had 75 days to either do your loss damage report or your claim. Starting May 15th, new policy is that you have 180 days. 180 days to get your stuff unpacked, organized, to verify any damage, and 180 days to do that loss damage report or your claim. If you do the loss damage report, you then have 9 months to finalize your claim and submit that. That was a new initiative this year to be able to give families more time to be able to go through their stuff, because we know life happens. That 75 days, you think I can do it, we can get it done. Somebody gets sick, you end up, at the doctor's, in the hospital, your spouse deploys right away, or goes to
basically Murphy.
Yeah, life happens. And so we were seeing a lot of families getting caught in that 75 days, and they were getting their claim submitted by day 80 or day 85. It's just like, I was a week late, I was a day late, I was an hour late, because you have to do it by midnight of that 75th day. Just because life happens. So we were able to get more time instated on it, so that way families have more time. So when life happens, you're not stressing about it and rushing around about it, and you have that ability to sit down, figure out the value, find comparable items, to be able to help support your claim. So you have 180 days for your loss damage report or your claim. If you do the loss damage report, you then have 9 months.
Okay, so basically what you're telling me, and audience, hear me now. If you PCS'd prior to May 15th of this year, the deadline's 75 days. Period. End of discussion. That's the policy. If you PCS'd on or after May 15th, 2020, you have 180 days, which is what, about 6 months?
Yeah.
To file that claim, which I think is awesome. And let me tell you why this is such a big deal, for 2 reasons. Number one, military spouses like Megan have been advocating for this specifically. Because guess what happened to my husband when we first got to our duty station? I'm sure you can take a wild guess. Guess what? He was gone. Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth again. Didn't have time to deal with it. Well past the 75 days. I sure as heck didn't know at the time that I was supposed to be doing any of this claim stuff. And we went past the deadline, which is not cool. 180 days allows for a bigger buffer for situations just like mine. I'm a little bit Jay. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit Jay, but I'm super excited for our military families who are going to be able to have that buffer of time. How freaking exciting. And you know why that happened? Guess what, people? They read the surveys. They listen to people like Megan who are advocating on our behalf. Huge, big, fat deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, off my little stump now. Okay, 2 more questions, then we're going to move on to the lightning round. If an item is lost or damaged during the move, the transportation service provider is obligated to pay the lesser of the replacement or repair cost. Fact or fiction?
So that one is actually fact. So they will pay the lesser amount of repair or replace. However, new this year, so say, they say this item can be repaired. Before, there was always a big stink about, them sending their people out to repair it, or you not knowing the cost, and, maybe there's a shady repair going on or something. You now have the ability to choose. So they will still choose repair or replace. Your TSP will still choose that. But if it's repair, you can choose to have them repair it, or you can choose to be paid the repair cost. So say they say, it can be repaired for $400. You can either have them repair it, or you can choose to be paid the $400 and you can go have it repaired yourself. In my experience, because we've had to have things repaired, I like asking them to repair it, because if for some reason that repair is over $400, they end up having to order a new part for it. The time took longer than they expected, so there's additional labor costs. That falls on the company because they're paying them directly. If they pay me the $400 to go have it repaired and that cost is more, I can't go back and say, hey, I need an extra $700, because they'll, them paying you $400 was settling your claim. And once it's settled, you can't go back and ask for more.
Got you. Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I don't have to be happy about it, but that makes sense.
I mean, yeah, there is a lot of, yeah.
So, okay, we're on our last question before the lightning round, y'all. You want to share this? You want to share the wealth? Because we're going to have 3 winners, by the way.
Yeah.
It's out to your peeps, whether it's text message, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. We're streaming like in a couple different things here. The whole techie tech thing. Shoot it out to your friends. Seriously, they have a chance to win, because literally all you have to do is answer. Whether that answer is right or wrong, you're trying, which means you're engaged with the topic, which means it's important because you're going to learn something and pass that on to a military spouse so they won't screw it up next time, which is awesome because I totally could have used this about forever ago. It's been a minute. Oh, I have seen the evolution of the PCS process over the last years. Yes, my husband starts, like 20 years in the Marine Corps. So that's like a what, hoorah, yuck, kill, semper fi. And so you see an evolution of nobody cares. People are mad. People start saying something. Okay, it hit the fan. Guess what? Here we have some change thanks to peeps like Megan.
Mm-hmm.
Just an FYI, that is how the sausage is made. Okay, so last question. Here we go. Companies will come back for a one-time pickup of all your empty boxes. Fact or fiction?
That is fiction. So again, previously, because our policies change and things change with it, previously that used to be a thing where companies would come back for a one-time pickup of your empty boxes and packing paper. That is no longer required. Yes, some companies still offer it, because they can reuse boxes. A lot of them do not. So if you want them to take the paper, that you want them to take the boxes with them, you need to have an unpack on delivery day, because any empty boxes, any packing paper on delivery day, they are to take those with them, but they will not come back and pick things up. Now, if you're sitting there, you just moved in and you have like this pile of boxes stacked in the corner of your garage and you're thinking, how in the world am I going to get these to the recycling center? Like, what in the world am I going to do to get rid of these boxes? Like, we're going to have to be putting 3 into our trash can for the rest of the time that we're living here. First, if you're near a big military installation, join the spouses group there, Facebook spouse group, whatever it is. Post that you have boxes and packing paper. People that are doing PPMs and trying to save money will gladly come take those boxes off your hand. And then if you are not near big military installation, post them on Facebook Marketplace. Say, hey, I have a bunch of moving boxes that are free. I'll put them out on the curb or outside my garage, if you want to come and get them. I guarantee you by the end of the week, most of them, if not all of them, will be gone, because people are always looking to save money when they're doing PPMs, but the company will not come back and pick them up.
Good call. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is absolutely true, Renee. There are always plenty of neighbors who will want them. Put them on the curb, wait 5 minutes, just like Megan said. I'm telling you, it is legitimately like, if you build it, they will come. Yes. Right?
Oh, yes. And if you have small kids, you're unpacking your house, you have small kids and you need them like out of the way so you can organize, open a box, turn it on its side, give them some markers, and they will leave you alone for a good hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't know what it is about boxes and markers. Kids love it, but there's your little kid distraction so you can get something unpacked.
Okay, how about boxes in general? Because I remember all the expensive, stupid baby crap that I used to buy for my kids for Christmas, and I'd be like, oh, I'm so excited to give this to them. They'd say, screw the toy, I want the box. Like, what on the actual earth? Like, really?
You know what comes to my mind all the time? Anybody else watch Friends? Enjoy watching that old show, Friends? There is an episode where Joey and Chandler and Ross, like, they had built a box fort in their apartment, and Chandler walks in and, Joey and Ross stand up playing Cowboys and Indians or something out of the box fort. And they're just like, come play in our box fort. And Chandler's just like, oh, okay. I mean, like, boxes can be fun for people of all ages. We love them.
No joke. I mean, look at Katie. Katie, you're probably spot on, girlfriend, free babysitter, like legitimately for hours.
Yeah.
Let's spend $100 on this awesome thing that comes in a giant box so that they can play with the box for 6 months.
Yeah. Absolutely. You can go in the box, you can stand on the box, you can crawl around the box. I mean, you can color on the box. I mean, kids love them. It's your distraction, so you can finally get your kitchen organized.
Word. We have one question before we get to the lightning round, and it's really big, so it's going to cover up our faces. Denise said a few minutes ago, in the past 10 years, we've moved 4 times. I've had pretty good movers each time. The last move, the truck drivers people took out our couch completely apart underneath. When it was delivered, the movers tried to put it back together and it didn't do too good with it. So it came apart in like 3 pieces plus removing the backs. Can we request them not to take it apart in the future? They were determined that at origin it had to be taken apart. So can they request for them not to take it apart?
So it's a sticky situation. So to try to explain it in good terms. So a lot of times that truck driver, that crew, they're trying to maximize the capacity of their truck as much as possible to ensure that your shipment is going to fit on that truck. My family, we take a semi truck. I know they are trying to do everything they can to make sure our stuff is fitting on that truck. It happens. So for a lot of times they try to take things down break them apart as much as they can to make sure that it fits. If it should be taken apart in a certain way, or that it should only come down to so many pieces, talk to the crews about that and let them know. My other suggestion would be, you always have the option of taking things apart yourself. If you take it apart yourself, they're not going to put it back together at the other end. That's going to fall on you as another one of your responsibilities, but you do have that option. But as far as requesting them not to take something apart, if they have to take something apart to be able to get it to fit on the truck to maximize capacity, then they're going to have to. But if you know a better way of how it should come apart or how it goes back together, or that, this thing, even though you think it can be broken down into 3 sections, should really only be broken down into 2, talk to your crews about that and let them know. Something that we spend a lot of time talking with moving industry folks about, is that for our family, we've done 10 PCSs. I know how that table comes apart. I know how that table goes back together. So if I'm trying to tell you that that piece doesn't come off, it's because I know that piece doesn't come off. So have those conversations with your crews, see what they say, but you always have the ability to take it apart yourself if you want to.
Word. Okay. That makes sense. That does make sense. I was always I never even knew that they were supposed to put it back together. Like, Can you picture me trying to put it? Dude, me and my husband put the bunk bed together downstairs and realized after it was built that we probably should have built it upstairs. Yeah. Military life. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our lightning round. Everybody, this is for you. Go ahead and participate. We want you to say fact or fiction. Whether the answer is right or wrong, you're either way going to learn something, but each time you answer, it will be entered to win. So here, fact or fiction. It has to do with shipping. And Megan's going to give us the breakdown on where we can find the information on or the policy on each one. So, movers will not ship your alcohol. Fact or fiction, people. Fact or fiction. Write it down. Don't say anything yet, Megan. Wait for people to answer. Fact or fiction. Movers will not ship your alcohol. We'll give you 10 seconds. Do 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 do. Do 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 boom boom. Megan, fact or fiction? Movers will not ship your alcohol.
It's a little bit of both. This is a tricky question, y'all. So most companies will not ship opened alcohol. So if you have a half a bottle of Jack Daniels, you probably either need to take it with you or give it to your neighbor. But if you have, a lot of people have wine collections. If it's closed wine, not opened, a lot of times they usually have no problem taking that. Now, as far as I see some folks talking about, OCONUS versus CONUS here in the comments, they can ship it overseas. It can be done. However, there are additional customs forms that have to be filled out. You are probably going to have to pay importing fees to go along with that, depending on the amount of, like if you're trying to take one bottle, probably not a big issue. If you have a collection, I have a friend, they have a wine collection. It's like 300 bottles of wine. There are additional custom forms you have to fill out, importing forms you have to fill out. There's, depending on where you're going to, across state lines, a couple of times they've had to get some liquor licensing paperwork filled out to go along with it. So it can be done. Just know if you have more than like a bottle, you're going to maybe have to do some extra paperwork and legwork on it.
Makes sense. Makes sense. You said you had a friend that had a collection of 300 bottles?
She does, yeah. So they get like a bottle or two every vineyard that they go to. They were stationed in Europe for a couple of years. They traveled around to some vineyards over in Italy and Europe and get some bottles there. But yeah, it's like a 300.
Yeah. What's their address?
They are actually, I believe, stationed in DC right now. So they receive.
Oh, it is so on. By the way, peeps, if you didn't know, that's where this girl's at. All right. Yeah, it's on. All right. Next one. Movers will not ship your firearms, your guns and ammo, your firearms. You've got about 10 seconds.
So really quick, while y'all are answering that, I want to go back up to one of the comments above when we were talking about high value items. Denise West had asked about antiques and having an appraisal for going on a high value list. You don't need the appraisal to go on a high value inventory. However, I always suggest spend that extra money, get the appraisal, because should that antique hutch be damaged, should that whatever be broken, having that appraisal works in your favor to show you that it does have value and it's not just an old dresser that you have. So it's not required, but I always say you should definitely get it.
Totally makes sense. Okay. So we've got some answers. And so what do you think, Megan, fact or fiction, shipping of firearms?
Fact. Oh, sorry. I read your question wrong. They will ship firearms. They will. That is a fact. They will ship them. There are some regulations that go along with it. There is sometimes, depending on what kind of firearms you're shipping, additional paperwork that has to be done. The firearms, your box should not be labeled as firearms or guns in this box. It should be labeled generically, like sporting good equipment or something of that sort. It needs to be unloaded. It needs to have a lock on it. I always suggest if you have the ability to transport your firearms yourself, you should absolutely transport them yourself. Just better peace of mind activity going on there and whatnot, but also know the state laws for the state lines you got to cross as to, you know, what they allow for firearms for transport. But moving companies can absolutely transport and ship your firearms if needed.
Word. Okay. Next one. Movers will not ship your boats or mobile homes. Are those two separate things, Megan?
Yeah.
Policy. Okay, so we're going to go with boats first. Will not ship your boats. 10 seconds, y'all. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. My son is probably laughing at me right now. 4, 3, 2. Megan? Boat?
They will ship your boat. They will. So the DTR Part 4 Appendix K1 gives you some information about shipping your boat. I mean, obviously, if you have like a houseboat, if you have like a huge whatever, it may be better trying to get a third party to do that. But if you have a smaller boat, they can ship your boat. The weight will count towards your household goods weight, but I have seen boats be shipped.
Okay. All right. Next one. Movers will not ship your mobile homes. Got about 10 seconds, y'all. 7, 6, 5. Mobile homes. 3, 2. Get them in. 1. Go, Megan.
That is fiction. They will not ship blah, blah, blah. Mobile homes. It's Wednesday. Feels like a Monday.
I'm saying.
They will not ship mobile homes. Mobile homes is totally your responsibility. A lot of people take their mobile homes and PCS with them, do a partial Diddy move with them, and you can weigh the mobile home full and empty and count that as a partial ppm, but that responsibility falls on you.
Got you. Okay. Movers will not ship your motorcycle. 10 seconds, y'all. 9, 8, 7. By the way, this is the second from the last one. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Megan, fact or fiction?
Fiction. They will ship your motorcycle for you. A lot of times motorcycles will get crated, and the weight of the motorcycle, it gets counted as part of your household goods weight. But they will absolutely ship your motorcycle for you.
Got you. All right. Last one, y'all. Bring it home. Movers will not ship your cleaning supplies. And go. 10 seconds, y'all. And while you're doing that, get those answers in. Come on, bring it home, because we're going to do the wheel of names shortly after that. Yeah. Great chances to win. Just wanted to kind of maybe go ahead and show you guys what you will be looking at. This is what we are raffling off today. 3 lucky winners will receive this amazing necklace. Megan, are you seeing this, by the way?
I am.
Absolutely. Awesome. This too shall PCS, because Lord knows we need that phrase up in our lives. This is what you can wear around your neck on your next PCS. And I heard through the grapevine that it kind of wards Murphy away. So just an FYI. All right. So answer to that question, Megan, fact or fiction, cleaning supplies?
So it's a little bit of both. So the general rule of thumb, if it's flammable, they will not ship it. A lot of times you will hear companies say if it's a liquid, so if you've got like a liquid cleaning solution, a spray bottle of some sort, they will not move it. I've had companies ship our cleaning supplies as well. So it's a little bit of company dependent, but just know if it's flammable, if it's a flammable cleaning supplies, they will not. If you have a lot of cleaning supplies or you are one of those people that buy the organic, expensive cleaning supplies and you really want them shipped, my suggestion is to prep them. Get the big 2-gallon Ziploc bags, put them in there, seal them up so that way if for some reason they do bust or they do spill, it's contained and it's not getting over everything else in the box and not creating a mess. So it's a little bit of both. It's really company dependent, but flammable, they will not. Liquids is a maybe, but other stuff they should do without issue.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now on for the piece de resistance. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for that drawing? Here we go. I'm going to share my screen again and we're going to put you on the wheel of names. Here we go. All right. And
the names, y'all.
First winner is Rochelle. What?
Congrats, Rochelle.
Congrats, Michelle. Okay, Rochelle is winner number 1. And now we're moving on to winner number 2. Drum roll. Oh, Esther Santana.
Esther.
Congrats, Esther. Mm-hmm. Word. Okay. Last drawing for the Hope Design necklace number 3, this 2-shell PCS. I feel like the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, Jamie! Woo! Congrats, Jamie.
That's everybody.
Okay, so here is what I'm going to ask those 3 of you. If you could message our PCS Grades Facebook page with your email address, that would be fantastical so I can get in touch with you so we could send that over to you. And let me stop sharing my screen so you don't see like all of the things because that you don't
have us going on there.
Yeah, it's kind of like a wall of mirrors, right? Anyways, super awesome, Rochelle, Jamie, Esther, congrats. And again, we're going to be probably doing this again next week because, hi, why not? By the way, Design Limited is a Mill spouse-owned business, and we love Lauren Hope. She's like the whole designer guru thing. We love her for that. So
on her website too, Hope Designs. She's got a Facebook page. She's got a special group. Her website. If you need a little special bling for yourself or for a military spouse that you absolutely love, and you want to give them a little something. At our last duty station, all of my volunteers got little brooches with our unit crest on them because it's a little extra bling. Every military spouse needs a little bling. So definitely go check them out. Handcrafted, beautiful quality. And Lauren is just an awesome, amazing person as well. So.
Yeah, we love our tribe, right? We love our tribe.
Yeah.
Okay, so next week we will be talking about housing. We'll talking about base housing with the whole PCS COVID issue type deal. But that is all for today. Megan, thank you so much. And again, a happy belated birthday. We love you, but you already did that because you weren't born yesterday. Boom. What? And again, until next week, everybody, thank you for watching us. This too shall PCS. Bye.
Bye.